Hello, and thanks for watching. All of the readings I had scheduled to promote my new book, Luckhound, have been canceled, which is of course the safe and correct thing to do. So I'm coming to you through your mobile devices, your computers, to read you some of the poems from the collection. I hope you'll pre-order the book. The link will be in the description below. And I have a pretty small selection of those poems here. But I'm going to first start with this poem called Thanksgiving Break at the Brass Rail, which is dedicated to my very good friend Orlando Garcia. Thanksgiving Break at the Brass Rail. My white shirt fits so well I didn't even wear anything over it. Yeah, it was winter. But what is the cold against brand new confidence, still in its plastic wrap? The bar was practically empty, and I had you laughing, saying, "You lucky bastard," within minutes. It was Thanksgiving break. I was 15 pounds lighter, freshly single and stranded, at least as far as family was concerned. But who says family can't be born out of whatever it's called when your life strips you of everything? Then one day, it's all the way into late afternoon. You wake up, you pull an old white undershirt from the back seat of your car, and it fits so well. And on that day, the crack of a wishbone sounds just like two glasses clinking to your newfound freedom. Thank you. I'm used to applause or something in between these. All right, this next one is about reading poetry, specifically the poetry of Dean Erksey. And it also mentions Mrs. Reimert, my 6th grade teacher who really got me into poetry writing. It's like running. I often wonder if I read poems too fast. Am I breathing at the right spot, respecting the pregnant comma the way Mrs. Reimert taught me? In the 6th grade, with a full body's sense of space, meaning. My eyes disparage distance, or at least they don't think in terms of miles. I'm happy with the rush. The sprinter's gift of sucking air and returning fumes tenfold, lungs burning. Now and again my stride cracks, my gait slowing to an awkward swing, hobbling, trying to find my balance, because suddenly I'm in a familiar field. One that hurt, or at least seems the same, except there are fire hydrants where the blue stems should be. Or reading Dean Erksey, I'm driven to a dead halt, coughing, fighting for room in my chest after seeing how I felt when that thing happened, played out on Pearl Street. I close the book, can't move, and all I can think is 2 loud things. 1, I am sick of reading poems about Brooklyn. 2, I can't imagine a place more beautiful. Speaking of New York, this next poem, true story, is about the last time I went to New York. It's called Have You Ever Seen a Sunset? I don't mind saying there are no sunsets like Kansas sunsets. So much open space, flat ground to fall to. All knees and dropped jaws at the pink-red slit in the sky. Last time I was in New York, a woman asked me if I had ever had a bagel before, and I wish we had that kind of arrogance. That we were members of an elite breakfast pastry society. The only ones to have ever tasted the things we hold dear. And maybe arrogance isn't the right word. She was probably trying to be nice, offering a small slice of what brings her to the ground. So from now on, whenever I make introductions, I'll just ask, have you ever seen a sunset? This next poem is a reflection on my middle school years. Why do you act like that? It's stupid how much all of this matters now. Years since I hunched, pubescent and afraid of everything. howling just to hear my voice echo back. The comfort of knowing the walls were still there without having to remove my hands from my eyes. Lunchrooms are what I think death will be like. Cold, isolated, gathered for a slimy feast. A smell that vaguely reminds you of something that once lived, while angels float around the room, holding hands and passing love letters, basking in the royal rays of gossip, status. I was always loud because at least the seraphs would look at me before they broke for the trash cans. This poem's called Fenway. Everyone claps for Brandon because he really stepped up when the time came. Put on overalls, didn't touch anything harder than beer, only cheated once, and Mary doesn't even know about it. I guess, by comparison, this is success. A seventh-inning comeback deserving of a fanfare. An entire network of family and friends all sighing with relief for the kid. What it must feel like to have only put half your ass on the field, and only after a long season in the dugout. Not because you were never called at the plate, but because you were busy dumping everyone's Gatorade on yourself, rolling in the mess, wanting the trophy without getting off your couch. They say angels cheer louder when the lost come home than they do for those who never stray. This is hard to hear from the pitcher's mound. This one's called Adventurous. The kind of people that love erratic weather because they think it's their reflection. I am such a tempest, a heavy blanket of ice, but I'll melt by noon tomorrow. Or quake when they read Kerouac. I am such a seed in the wind, riding the current, landing wherever fortune will have me, then off I go again. People only say these things at the lamest parties, ones they've obviously been to before, holding a beer that doesn't taste too much like beer, wearing a shirt that says Bahamas, Carnival Cruise, 2002. All right, I have two left. This next one is Luckhound, the title poem for my collection. Luckhound. Guilt has me squinting at scratch card math, throwing mud over my shoulder because it's heavier than salt, squeezing the living, kicking rabbit to get my lips at its feet, blowing kisses and wishes to rubber-molded martyrs and rubbing painted bellies of sod trunks turned to idols. Softer slurps of goat horn soup still burn my tongue. Penance for mocking an ancient island religion. Hearing the strained dead air wheeze of my wallet, emaciated and poked by every passing screen, those windows to helpful heaven. Swiping left for a whole new chapter to be afraid of. A whole new convoy of junk to dampen the rumble, and a whole new crop of growing prices. This last poem is called Dear Satoshi, and it's about the inventor of Bitcoin who lives anonymously. Dear Satoshi, if you won't speak, let me speak to you behind as many screens as you'd like. I keep my geography marked, a map on my desktop, little red icons, those people who were with me. Memories made real by the tone in their voice on TeamSpeak as they said, "We're here," because the difference between finally and finally is unmanageable. Traveling alone is fine the way protein is protein, and that once you've eaten, it doesn't matter who paid the delivery guy or what you were in the mood for. But every meal tastes better in company. Appetites governed by conversation, savored bites in between. But I'm holding my breath for the day that price and time mean the same thing. For the day my fans can rest, hard drives, old smartphones cooling in the shade of "We made it. Finally." And to have that finally wake me in the night, because its arrival will ring louder than any trumpet, than any vibrating thing ever has before. All right, well, thank you for watching once again. Like I said, the link will be in the description below. And I don't know, thank you. Have a good night.